Hi friends, welcome to our channel. My name is Catherine Hubert. I am excited to host you here in our space today while we talk about power and the fact that you and I as humans are not powerless. Why are we talking about this? Especially why are we talking about this at the sort of tail end of this month, and this month that's been specifically focused around the area of disability bias and the narratives that we hold or believe, taking some time to observe and notice those, and then paying attention to how that makes us feel and what to do when we feel like we've gotten it wrong or we have gotten it wrong. And that's where this piece of power and the fact that we are not powerless comes into play. And this has been a thought and kind of dwelling of mine over the past couple of months, is the link between power and shame. And we're just going straight into content today. Lord bless. I was like, there's nothing frivolous there at the beginning. It was just like, and now we're talking about my lifelong struggle with shame. So welcome. If you don't know me, you're about to get to know at least a piece of me. But shame is an emotion that I can very quickly and easily slide into. It has become a natural posture that I have taken on over my life, and it's something that I have been actively working to shed over the past several years. And as I've been doing that work and also been doing some work around power and responsibility and what that looks like, it has occurred to me that I think there really is a link between power and shame. And something that I've observed in my own life is that oftentimes when I am feeling a lot of shame, it's because I feel very powerless to change the thing that is making me feel ashamed in the first place. And then it's easy to spiral and to get stuck and to just sit as a bottom dweller in that emotion and in that experience. And so I want to talk today about what it looks like for us to claim or to reclaim the power that we do have and hold, and to use that to push against the shame that we may experience, and especially in the context of this YouTube channel and the conversations we've been having this month, to push against the shame that we may feel or have accumulated around our awareness and understanding of the bias that we may have and hold either for or against disability. So we're going to cover three connecting points here today. We're going to talk a little bit about shame and power, about power and safety, and about power and responsibility. So this will be quick because this isn't super long form content that we provide here. We may go deeper into some of these things in the future. However, the first one, shame and power, having touched on that already a little bit, I think it's important to recognize when shame is creeping in or when we've been swept up in the tidal wave of it. And in those moments, to stop and to remember that we do have the power to take action. We do have the power to do things differently. We do have the power to stand up and to say something. And all of those things, I think, are linked to the idea of bias. And when we recognize that we've been biased or we are perpetuating themes or narratives or beliefs around disability that we no longer want to hold or to adhere to, and we start to kind of detach or untangle from those thoughts and ideas and those emotions. And while it may be feeling overwhelming, or you may feel personally, I know for me, when I've become more aware of bias that I've had, it can be a hard thing to sit with and to reconcile and be like, oh, that's not who I want to be, and that's not the way that I want to look at or understand another human, and feel ashamed for the way that I've said something, for the way that I've done something, and recognizing that there can most certainly be grief and sadness or anger or disappointment around those things, but shame can really take us down and can get us stuck and keep us silent. And so remembering, I don't like where I am. I don't like the fact that this is my thought or this is my belief. And instead of just being like, well, I'm terrible and I suck as a human because that is my thought or my belief, remembering I have the power to change that. I can step into that. I can speak up. I can engage in a conversation. I can read a book. I can follow more disability accounts on Instagram. I can do my own research. I can broaden my social circles and be in spaces where I encounter disability cultures and disabled humans more, so that I see and I understand with a deeper level of perspective and understanding. You have the power to do something about what you're believing and how that belief is making you feel. Secondly, power and safety. Well, back up just a step. I don't remember. I know Brene Brown talks about this. I know that somebody else does too, and I'm forgetting who it is. But there are different beliefs around power. Some people believe that only one person in a room can hold power. And then that very easily becomes threatened if someone else is exercising or using their own power. There's also belief that each and every individual holds their own power, and we actually function best as a community, as a society, as a business, as a family, whatever that may be, as an entity, when each person is operating in the power that they hold. And that is the stance that we hold to here at Chez Genèse. I know actually for a fact that we don't always operate in that perfectly and well, but that is the goal, and that is the underlying belief and foundation, that it's like each person holds power, and as much as possible we seek to empower, which means letting someone stand in the power that they actually have and do possess. And something that a practice that I've picked up from counseling over the years is to think of power as a basketball. And you can actually start to identify when you're taking your power and passing it to someone else, or when someone else is taking their power and passing it to you, and seeking to actually let someone hold their own. So if someone hands me their power, instead of me holding it and now assuming responsibility or power for this person, I hand it back to them. Say, actually, I think you're really smart and you're capable of making this decision. What do you think we should do here? Which it takes a minute to kind of pick up on those patterns, and I'm still picking up on them in some ways. But I think back to power and safety. Safety does not exist in areas where only one person is holding power. In order for us to actually experience safety and to know that we are safe, we do need to hold and exercise the power that we have, and for there to be space for us to be able to do that. There also, on the other side of that power and responsibility, the person who does have, like, each person may hold a different level or degree of power. The person who holds the most power should hold the most responsibility. And that also ties into safety. If the person who's holding a lot of the power is not also holding a lot of the responsibility, that also creates an environment that is unsafe. And I can use myself as an example here in our business. Like, I do hold the most power within this business as the owner and the person who makes the financial decisions, who signs the paychecks, whose name is on all the legal documents. Like, that does give me a certain degree of power that no one else does hold within this business. However, because of that, I also do assume and hold a level of responsibility that is not expected of anyone else that is on my team. And it would be unfair and unkind and disrespectful and irresponsible of me to place that onto someone else and expect them to pick up the responsibility where they don't actually hold the power. So, how do all of these things connect? I don't totally know, to be honest. Some of these are thoughts that are still developing and forming in my own mind. However, recognizing that we do have power, we are not stuck, we can take action, we can move, there is space for us. And because of that, reminding ourselves that we are safe within ourselves, and that we can take responsibility with the power that we have, and we can allow or give back the responsibility and power that belongs to someone else. It's not my job to do your work, it is not your job to do my work. We're each responsible for that. We can cheer each other on in the process. But there's a level of understanding of movement and of safety that come into play with all of those things. And as we continue to tackle some of these more complex and nuanced conversations around bias and what it looks like to really break down a lot of the systemic bias and injustice that we see in our culture and in our country around disability and disability employment, remembering that we're not stuck. We can move forward. Those can be baby steps, those can be big steps. They're still steps, and they're still going to move you forward. And that in the process of us standing in our own responsibility, in our own power, in moving forward, we can be safe with ourselves, but we can also promote an environment of safety and learning for those around us. So, heavy stuff, y'all. That took it out of me. Honestly, it's interesting. Like, I was feeling heavy coming into recording today, just from life and busyness in the restaurant, and from I think just general fatigue that I have felt that has impacted my mental capacity and my ability to even just retain and process information. And so I was already feeling frustrated a little bit. And a little defeated with myself and with all the things kind of coming in. And so I'm like, I feel that energy. And it's interesting going back and watching these videos and having kind of this like video log of how I was feeling on specific days, and be able to remember, like, I remember that I was feeling this way, and like I can sometimes perceive that, because there is an element of performance that comes into play anytime that you're speaking to a group, an audience. It's genuine, it's from me, it's from my heart, but there is an element of still like I'm showing up and performing also to a degree. And and recognizing that I don't know, it's harder to mask maybe how I'm really feeling on the inside. So if I seemed a little heavy today, I am. That would be accurate. I'm not sure that having this talk made me feel any lighter, but that's okay. It's not light work, and it's not meant to be, but it's an honor to get to do it here with my team and to get to do it here with you as our community. So thank you so much for being part of that with us. We have a catering this morning, which means I'm here early, as you can probably tell by my voice. But I don't like waking up. I do like being here. And it's so quiet. This is as quiet as it gets. The fridges and all are still loud, but there's something about being in this space all by myself